Iran now appears to boast the largest and most diverse missile arsenal in the region, raising fresh alarm over how far its strike capabilities can reach across the Middle East. From Shahab ballistic missiles to Shahed attack drones, Iran's expanding strike web now stretches over much of the Middle East, linking rockets, missiles and unmanned systems into a layered threat. Despite a major war with the US and years of sanctions, Iran's missile arsenal continues to grow in size and sophistication, suggesting that pressure has slowed but not stopped its weapons programs. Are long-range systems like Sejjil and Somar just the beginning, as Iran quietly works on technology that could one day threaten US soil directly? Iran's war with the US has underscored that Tehran now fields one of the largest and most diverse missile arsenals in the Middle East, according to defense experts. Analysts say Iran possesses thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles, giving it the ability to threaten a wide range of regional targets with varying ranges and payloads. Some of these Iranian missiles are assessed to be capable of striking targets across Israel and as far as parts of Eastern Europe, extending Tehran's reach well beyond its immediate neighborhood. At the same time, experts note that Iran has not yet deployed a missile that can reliably reach the US mainland, keeping its direct intercontinental strike capability below the threshold for now. However, Tehran continues to advance longer-range missile technology through its space launch and satellite programs, which use similar engines and stages to long-range ballistic systems. Koksan, heavy artillery that can strike targets up to around 60 kilometers away. Tundar 69, short-range ballistic missile designed to hit targets at distances of about 150 kilometers. Fateh 110, short-range ballistic missile capable of engaging targets between roughly 200 and 300 kilometers. Shahab 1, short-range ballistic missile with an effective reach of about 285 to 330 kilometers. Shahab 2, evolved short-range ballistic missile extending its strike range to roughly 500 kilometers. Fateh 313, precision short-range ballistic missile optimized for engagements out to around 500 kilometers. Zulfiqar, advanced short-range ballistic missile able to hit targets up to about 700 kilometers away. Qayyam 1, short-range ballistic missile with a maximum reach estimated between 700 and 800 kilometers. Shahab 3, medium-range ballistic missile designed to project power up to nearly 1,300 kilometers. Sejjil, solid-fuel medium-range ballistic missile capable of striking targets at distances of about 2,000 kilometers. Somar, land attack cruise missile built for long-range missions between roughly 2,000 and 3,000 kilometers. Ra'ad, anti-ship cruise missile intended to threaten naval targets at ranges of about 350 kilometers. Safir, space launch vehicle used to place small payloads into orbit, with a flight range near 350 kilometers. Uali, land attack cruise missile capable of precision strikes at distances of up to around 700 kilometers. Simorgh, space launch vehicle built to carry heavier payloads into orbit, with a flight range of about 500 kilometers. Ahmad, upgraded Shahab 3 medium-range ballistic missile, extending strike reach to roughly 1,700 kilometers. Gadarwan, refined Shahab 3 medium-range ballistic missile variant, pushing effective range to about 1,950 kilometers. Khorramshahr, powerful medium-range ballistic missile capable of hitting targets at distances up to nearly 2,000 kilometers. Shahed 101, compact one-way attack drone built for strikes up to about 500 kilometers from launch. Shahed 107, one-way attack drone whose exact range remains unconfirmed, adding mystery to its battlefield role. Shahed 131, expendable one-way attack drone designed to hit targets at distances of roughly 900 kilometers. Shahed 136, long-range one-way attack drone capable of deep strikes out to around 2,500 kilometers. Shahed 230A, upgraded one-way attack drone with an estimated reach between about 600 and 1,000 kilometers. Shahed 129, unmanned combat aerial system combining surveillance and strike capability over roughly 1,700 kilometers. Shahed 147, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance drone tailored for missions up to about 1,000 kilometers away. Shahed 149, long-endurance ISR platform able to conduct intelligence and surveillance operations at ranges near 4,000 kilometers. Shahed 197, shorter-range ISR drone optimized for reconnaissance missions under 1,000 kilometers from base. Iran has accused the United States of attempting to reinterpret and rewrite key provisions of the June 17 Peace Memorandum of Understanding. The dispute erupted after Marco Rubio publicly questioned whether regional hostilities could realistically come to a complete end. Rubio argued that lasting peace remains unattainable while Iran-backed groups continue operating across the Middle East. Iranian officials insisted that a complete cessation of hostilities remains the very first and most important clause of the MOU. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman Esmail Baghaei said Tehran would not be deceived by what it sees as contradictory U.S. statements. Esmail Baghaei said, and I quote, "We can't have a peaceful region so long as American militarism and interventionism persist, and their occupying proxy continues, with absolute impunity. To inflict endless wars across the region and perpetrate genocide, terror violence, and every atrocities." The contradictory statements by U.S. officials regarding the Memorandum of Understanding will do nothing to reduce the accumulated distrust of Iranians. Unquote. Earlier, a senior advisor to Mojtaba reportedly demanded the full implementation of all ceasefire-related provisions contained in the agreement. Mohammad Mokber warned that agreements existing only on paper, without practical enforcement, could carry serious consequences. Mokber linked the future stability of Middle East energy flows to the proper implementation and enforcement of the MOU. Speaking in Bahrain on June 25, Rubio said the United States remains committed to pursuing a broader agreement with Iran. The U.S. Secretary of State stressed that any final agreement must safeguard American security interests and regional partnerships.
It's important to point to a couple of things that are a priority to us. For while we want a deal, we don't want a deal at any price. We want a deal that's good, we want a deal that's real, we want a deal that's verifiable, and we want a deal that's adhered to. And it is important that any agreements that are reached, both in the process of negotiation and in the aftermath, be adhered to and followed. But there are certain things that for us are important to point out now that will never be acceptable. The first is the Straits of Hormuz are international waters. International waterways do not belong to any nation state. This is a foundational principle in the world today, without which the world would be in total chaos. If in fact we accepted that you can charge money to use an international waterway because it happens to be near your territorial space, well then this would spread throughout the world like a contagion. You can call it a toll, you can call it a fee, whatever you want to call it, it's a game of semantics. The reality of it is that no country on earth has a right to charge for the use of international waterways. And that will never be an acceptable condition of any deal. The President's been fundamentally clear about that. I just want to be clear, the United States remain open. And we want this to work. And we're prepared for it to work. And we're going to do everything we can do it. And we're hopeful that it will work. And it will require the help and cooperation of every country represented here today to make sure that not only if a deal happens that it's a good one, but also that it is adhered to. And the message that I come with is that we want to ensure that in any decisions that are made throughout this negotiating process, the interests of our partners and our allies in the region are always taken into account. That there is no part of this deal that's undertaken that in any way undermines the security, the stability, or the prosperity of any of our partners in the Gulf region.
Today, we see a glimmer of hope for our region, and the welcome diplomatic efforts resulting in an end to hostilities, with the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the United States and Iran, supported by the mediation of Pakistan and Qatar, and the restoration of free and secure navigation through the Strait of Hormuz. In this regard, we welcome the announcement by Oman of a temporary maritime corridor for vessels wishing to transit through the strait.